Yep.
Okay.
All right, welcome to another round of the Retro Bar podcast, and we're at episode 29, and we're on the road again.
Yeah, on the road again.
We're at the Akron Borough Hall with John McBeth, current mayor of Akron.
So we go from a tap house to
welcome.
history.
And now we're going to talk, I guess, mainly about Akron history, but obviously, John, if you have anything else you want to talk about, you're welcome to talk about whatever you want.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. I could talk some stories that I know about Paul growing up.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that might not be a bad thing. That might be nice to let the audience know a little bit of insight. Now, you two guys are way more familiar with Akron than I am. I am from North Denver, so I didn't get that. The only time I ever came to Akron when I was a kid is if we had a midget baseball game, and that was normally at the original park.
Yeah.
Not at
Broad Street
Not
Park.
at Roland Park.
What I understand, Akron was known for having about the best stadium there. They had,
Yeah, that was a nice field. Yeah.
They had a grandstand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so did Denver. We had a
Yeah.
snack bar, dugouts.
Well, John's been around enough to see that. That's
Yeah.
So you were like some of your history. Like you are now the mayor.
Yeah.
For many years, you were on council.
Mm-hmm. I had, I've been mayor. Well, I'm starting my 17th year as mayor, and I was on borough council for 16 years, and before that, I was on the planning commission for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
This is not just it's not just a sudden surge.
Yeah.
You climbed the ladder. You climbed the ladder.
Yeah, when I was in high school, we lived for about 3 years in Chambersburg. And I don't know why, but I ended up at the Chambersburg Borough Council meeting.
Okay.
And, I found that fascinating.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
these guys sit there and run the town.
Yeah, well, I guess, they do.
And back in those days, there was no other visitor. I was the only one. And I decided that someday I'd like to be on a borough council.
And not many kids can probably say that.
So
as a
Yeah,
youngster.
that's-
I thought that's fun. So I came here in Akron and chance to be on the planning commission, and then borough council, president of borough council, and now mayor. So
And outside of this, you were on the MS.
Oh yeah, multiple sclerosis. I did that
that's
for many
good.
years.
Yeah.
I joined the board of hospice of Lancaster County, I think in about its first or second year.
Are you still with that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they had 2-3 year term maximums.
Oh, okay.
So when I reached the 6th year,
Yeah.
I continued to help for fundraising for a while. But
All right.
back in those days, I think we had 3 employees,
All right. So now
maybe
it's
4 to 5 clients.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
grown extensively
I think
since
they have like 300 clients at any given
Yeah, that's.
And Brad Hawes was on.
Well, that's what I was going to ask if you knew Brad Hawes, because he works with hospice. He's a pastor over at St. John's UCC, but he also does a lot of hospice stuff.
Oh, okay.
And,
No.
He was on
He's
the
a good friend
podcast
of
and
mine.
he explained what his involvement with hospitals was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know that.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're the mayor, you're the be-all and end-all, or you answer to the council, or how does that work?
No.
You make your own rules?
I answer to the citizens.
Okay.
And,
All right, good.
the mayor is in charge of things like public safety,
Okay.
emergency declarations. Let's see. The mayor would also have a responsibility to see to it that ordinances are enforced. Things are done the way they're supposed to be done.
Okay.
These are all written in the Pennsylvania State Borough Code.
Okay.
And if there's a tie vote, which doesn't happen very often, the mayor gets to break the tie.
Oh, okay. All right.
But, of all the responsibilities of the mayor, as far as running the borough goes, who holds the checkbook? It's borough council.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, a lot of those decisions are made within borough council.
Right.
Well, most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one quick question before I forget to ask it. I thought of it on the way over here. What determines if an area is a borough versus a township? What distinguishes, like, what's the criteria that make you a borough rather than something else?
It's when there's a group of people and some period of time over the years, they decided to develop their own government. And so they were carved out of a township, and then they had their own government. And they did that because a number of reasons, but they wanted things that were more needed in a group of people.
Okay.
You know, they wanted their own fire company, they wanted their own police.
Okay.
You know, maybe they wanted street lights. They might have wanted a water system, or
Okay.
yeah. But originally they were part of Township, and back in 1895 is when Akron was incorporated and became a borough.
Okay. And boroughs follow different rules, like civil service, and as opposed to like townships.
Yeah.
There are different rules for each entity. Good or bad, it's just the way that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rules are much different, especially these days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So how big is Akron? What's the population of Akron now?
4,000. Might be a little bit above or below, but it's basically 4,000. It has stayed that way for many years because we're full.
Well, yeah. That's
Yeah.
And
That's
so it has stayed that way for many years. And when I came to Akron in 1965, I believe then the population was about 2,000.
all right.
So there was a big growth period. I kind of remember at one point when it was like 3,000, but then it got to 4,000.
Yeah.
And that's
And
where it is.
okay.
Yeah, and you have water and sewer and electric and
Yeah,
everything.
water, sewer, electric. We have PPL.
Yeah, PPL.
Okay.
We had our own electric plant at one time.
I thought at one time, like
We had
Effort
our-
also. Well, I guess they still do.
They still do. We had our own electric plant, I think, until around 1920 or something like that.
All right.
And then they ran into a problem. They could not generate enough electricity.
Okay. Well, as the town borough grew, I guess, yeah.
Well,
when more and
yeah.
more things became electric, as opposed to steam or whatever else it used to run on, you know,
Yeah.
the
Well,
demand went up.
Yeah, there came a year when all the women in Akron wanted an electric iron for Christmas.
And that put them over the edge.
That
That shut them down.
That did it.
All right. Well,
And I think, I don't know, that's not true today anymore, is it? You give a wife an electric
yeah, I
iron?
would be in trouble. I would probably be in trouble for
Yeah, well,
that.
hey, that's what they wanted in those
Yeah.
days.
Well, back then it made their life a little easier. Now it just, they assume you just want them to do more work.
Yeah.
So you're primarily on a hill. So, you know, with a hurricane coming, and I mean, you have your low-lying areas, but a majority of Akron is
It's
pretty
we're
high.
up there. And that's where we got our name. Akron means the zenith, the top.
Oh,
high
really?
point, high point.
Is that
Yeah.
an Indian word or is that a?
No, it's actually, I think it was a Greek word or
Oh,
something.
okay, all right.
But, yeah, at one time, Akron was known as Gravel Hill.
Okay, that's news.
And I think it's because there's a lot of shale,
Okay,
and it came up through. But I have an old map of the area, and definitely Gravel Hill. That's a long time ago. And then it became known as New Berlin. And I guess because of the population moving here from Germany.
okay, all right.
And then around 1860, there was a a number of people that went out to Akron, Ohio to work for the either a railroad or build a canal. I think it was to build a railroad.
Okay.
And about the time they would have come back, we started in seeing the word Akron showing up. So there's a good chance that Akron, Pennsylvania was named after Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
Knowing the meaning of the word Akron, they
Yeah.
came back and they looked up and saw, you know,
Right.
it's on a hill.
Yeah.
And there are 13 Akrons in the United States.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
13
I
of
knew
them.
of Akron, Ohio, but other than that, that's it.
Well, Akron, Ohio is the, gets
Rubber
off the
capital.
subject a little bit. Akron, Ohio is the best known Akron in the United States. Akron, Pennsylvania is the best known Akron around the world. That's because Mennonite Central
MCC.
Committee is here.
That is true, yeah.
And millions of people have gotten a box, food, clothing, medical supplies. That's a Mennonite Central Committee, Akron, Pennsylvania, given in the name of Christ.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah,
So-
I wouldn't, now that you say it, it makes sense. But,
I would not have.
Yeah, Akron, New York is third, and they have population over like around 2,000. That's very close to Buffalo.
Okay.
And after that, the population really begins to drop off. Yeah.
That's, now, if I am correct, in what is now Roland Park, there used to be, like it was the first building in the area, some trapper's hut or something, is that correct?
Yeah, it was a trading post, mainly from people coming up from Philadelphia, and from what I understand, it was a lot of Indians
Yeah,
would meet there and they would
that's what I sort of gathered.
trade, yes.
Yeah, well, that's neat.
So the entrance when the railroad came about,
Uh-huh.
and and then the trolley was, so you had railroad tracks going through Akron and the feed mill, and then the trolley.
Mhm.
So what was the trolley first, and what was the purpose of that? Was that going from like Philly to Lancaster or Philly? What?
The trolley came out of Lancaster. And I'm not sure of the dates on that, but it would have been second, I'm sure.
Second, okay.
Well, it was an electric trolley, and so
Oh, yeah.
I would think that the railroad was built right around 1862, which was amazing. It was built quickly during the Civil War time period, and you would have thought labor was a little bit scarce, but yeah, and it went from Columbia, Pennsylvania, up to Reading. So this is the Columbia Reading Railroad.
Okay.
And the trolley came out from Lancaster. I think it was the first one that came out through Leola and then across. And that one came across what I would call the north side of Roland Park.
Okay.
The other one came out from Lancaster City, and I guess that was later on, and that's the one that had to navigate the hill out here.
Yeah.
And you can still see a couple of the bridges. There's if you're coming in Old Akron Road, and you pass what is that, Pool Road. If you look towards the east, you can see one of the old bridge abutments. And also, if you go down to the end of the, what was the trolley path behind the lodge in Roland Park, if you go down to the end of that trolley path where it ends now,
Right.
you can look into a field and see the bridge abutments there as well.
Okay.
So,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, and trolleys always seemed to me to be sort of a neat thing. It was an easy way to get around.
Oh,
You
yeah.
didn't need a car. You didn't have to worry about driving.
And it was primarily people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as opposed to the train, which was there any passengers? I knew there was goods on the train. I don't remember hearing about any passengers.
In the old days, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe,
and in the old days,
yeah.
they probably
Yeah.
had passengers, maybe a hobo,
That's true.
That's
There
known.
was hobos.
Yeah, and they were known to travel by train a lot.
I remember your stories when you grew up about your family accepting the hobos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh, yeah, hobos, they were just people that were restless and wanted to travel, and they, there's, I think there's three categories. There's hobos, bums, and tramps.
Okay, well, that's some better than others. But.
Yeah, they used to come, when I grew up as a child, we were in Elizabethtown, and they grew up, and I think they shared where you could get some food.
Yeah, because there's a whole, somewhere I ran into almost like a whole hieroglyphic type of communication that hobos used on trains. Like, it wasn't letters and words, it was pictures that depicted this is a good place to get food, or this, this, that, or the other thing, but they used symbols.
Yeah. Those symbols, you can still see one, Jimmy Carter's house. They would put them on the mailbox post.
Oh,
They
okay.
would carve them in there, and the different symbols were, yes, you can get food here, there's a very nice people, or watch out for the dog. There were all kinds of symbols, and that's the only place I ever saw
Okay.
when I was there. But they had their way of
Now, the ones that you came to your house, apparently, was a lot of repeat customers, or was it, like, did you actually sort of get to know the people, or not really?
No, not really. There was a couple that we would see frequently,
Okay.
but
Was there any ever female hobos, or it's all?
I never came across
I
them.
never heard of
No.
any. That's-
No. When I was in school learning the printing trade, I'm a printer by trade.
Okay.
And I was up at Williamsport, and once in a while I'd go out for a walk along the Susquehanna River, and there was one evening or two that I would actually get in a conversation and talk for about an hour or so with them.
Okay.
It was just a way of life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They weren't all bad people.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah.
Now, not really Akron history, but you met Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. Jimmy Carter's homestead down in Plains, Georgia, was known as a place where hobos would be treated quite well.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's interesting. So you do printing. That's what you did your whole life as your occupation.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
type of printing, like brochures, or like old style, like, kind of stuff?
No, not letterpress printing. It
Okay.
would be offset printing.
Okay.
We had a letterpress printing here in town. Actually, we had two of them.
Okay.
One was in the area where the Main Street entrance to Broad Street Park, where the town clock is.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the other was down close to the Church of the Brethren.
All right.
But I worked in printing for about 15 years, and then I started a little business in the what we then called the Dutch School. It's the old Akron Elementary School.
I think my grandpa actually went to elementary school. He grew up in Akron somewhere. I don't know exactly
he
where.
would've.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have. They were open until I think right around 1960.
Yeah. Well, he would have definitely
Really?
been
Was it
older
that?
than that.
1960.
I think they closed a little bit before that, but then because the schools were cramped, they opened it up for maybe 2 grades.
Okay. Yeah, he would have been well before the 60s, but when he would have attended there. But
And how
Yeah,
old is
well-
that building? That's one of the historic buildings in Akron.
They
That's-
had their 90th anniversary, I would say about 40 years ago. 30 some years ago. 90th anniversary. The back part, when it was built, it was just the front part that you see with the door in the center. And then the back part was added on later. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta be interesting, and you've, had your shop in there
Oh, yeah.
for a long time, so.
Yeah, I started my business part-time, and then 5 years later, I went full-time.
All right.
And, yeah.
Cigar, Akron was known for cigars too.
Yeah, cigars.
Like it almost seemed like in the way back, every other house had something to do with
Yes.
cigars.
Yes, it was a great home occupation. Yeah, many homes rolled cigars.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
the other thing, of course, we were known for was the shoe factory.
I think my grandfather actually worked there for a while. He also worked down at the Fleet Air in Akron,
Okay.
but he
Yeah.
basically worked at some
Mhm.
shoe factories in the area. But
Yeah, and down across from the elementary school was a heel factory. And they made
okay.
heels, and they made, shoe factory was very important to Akron. When the fire siren would go out, the fire truck would be staffed with employees from the shoe factory. They were allowed to leave
okay.
and go
Yeah.
do that. The fire company was much closer than what it is now. And, we had businesses that just don't, we had a sandwich shop up there on Main Street,
Yeah,
Dewey.
Oh, I remember the Italian place.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
no,
before
before
that.
that, there was
Before
just
that.
a sandwich shop, and a lot of the employees would go down there and eat lunch, and of course, when the factory closed, that was kind of the end of that sandwich shop.
Yeah.
Across the street, catty corner to Wiser's,
Mhm.
okay. What was in, it's kind of set up like a commercial type front, but I can't remember what was, it's all apartments now, I believe.
It's all
I
apartments.
don't remember what
I'm thinking it might have been built as a hotel, but the commercial that you're thinking of was a gift shop,
okay.
and Mayor Guy Zell
Mm-hmm.
and his wife, they owned a gift shop, and
Oh, okay.
and they ran it, and then next to them, of course, was the parking lot for the old Akron restaurant.
All right, that's where it originated.
Mhm.
Yes.
So they had a good spot for their gift shop,
Right in the square, yeah.
right in the square and right next to a restaurant that people would wait in line
Yeah.
to get into. Yeah.
And then where Wiser's is now, is that where this Akron Hotel used to be?
The Romy, I believe so. Yeah.
This-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when did just generally, because you, ironically, you used to eat at the Akron restaurant.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day.
Yeah,
Pretty much every day, and
Yeah.
so it moved to the new building.
Yeah.
Out on
Mhm.
272.
Mhm.
Late 60s?
I'm thinking 71,
71, okay.
1971 is what
Okay.
I'm thinking. Yeah.
And
Very, very popular restaurant, even down there. I mean, on a Sunday, if you went there before like 2 o'clock, you'd wait in line.
yeah, church
Yeah.
crowd gets out, and it was,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was the Akron restaurant was in that area. You had the ShopRite.
Mm-hmm.
Across the street, you had the building where the borough used to be.
Yeah, that was built, that area was the Akron National Bank. And they were bought out by Fulton. And actually, Fulton Bank was built behind the Akron National Bank. And then when it was finished, they tore down the Akron National Bank, and that's why there's a nice amount of space from the sidewalk to the back
okay.
building.
All right, because that was,
Okay.
Yeah.
didn't the post office also used to be in that building at all?
No,
Was
the
that-
post office was across from the Akron restaurant.
Oh, okay.
It was
The
on
old
Main
Akron
Street.
restaurant.
Yeah, the old
yeah,
Akron, yeah. And then it moved to 11th and Main. And then they built the new building down here. Yeah.
And then the fire company being back then on 10th Street,
Uh-huh.
so that's the square is 9th Street in Maine. And then on 10th Street was the fire company.
Mhm. They had Borough Hall had their offices there.
Oh, I didn't know that, okay.
Until they bought the building, the Akron, Fulton Bank building.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, when that became available, they bought that, and there had been a fire at the old Borough Hall.
Mhm.
And, the old Borough Hall used to have a big social room in the back, and the fire company would have their dinners there. And before that, it was where the school would have their school plays. It was used by a lot of the community.
Yeah.
And that is still there. It's still used by, that would be the United Zion Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And 10th Street, as I remember, as a kid, when it snowed, they would shut 10th Street down. Now, they would never do that today.
No,
They would shut
wouldn't.
10th Street down and you could sled all the way down that hill.
Yep, and I remember that as well, and that was a great sledding area.
Oh, man, that was great. Now everything got shifted over to the new park, over to
Roland Park.
Yeah, that's a good sledding hill there.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
that wasn't intended to be the sledding hill. If you look at the original design of Roland Park, winter activities were planned to be over behind the old house when you go to the park. In front of the lodge building. There's
a hill.
Proposed a sledding area, and that's where people would ice skate quite frequently. But during the winter, that was good for ice skating. There was a fire pit there that, once that fire got started.
that was fun. I remember that. They had a little gazebo there, benches all the way around, and they always had, the borough guys always, when they cut trees down, they always just threw the wood there, so you always had wood to burn. You didn't have to bring anything. And so you had the fire going, and you went and ice skated, and I did that since I was a kid. It was great. It was a little disappointing to see that the gazebo is gone, and now there's just this round concrete thing or whatever it is, and that's a little disappointing. But the park is great. It's beautiful. It's so you do a lot of events in there. You have the frisbee,
Disc golf.
disc golf.
Disc golf source. That's now 27-hole disc golf course. At one time, from what I understand, the Disc Golf Association, it was about one of the best ones in this part of the country. But of course, it's become a more and more popular sport, and so it is maintained mainly by the Disc Golf Association. They take care of. They've paid for the baskets that you throw the golfs in. They go in and they clean it up. They take very good care of it.
So the entire park, Roland Park, is still all part of Akron Borough? Or?
I think it is. A number of years ago, when I was on Borough Council, we acquired another piece of land up in the mountain area.
Like behind what used to be the Fooder Gun?
Yeah, behind the Fooder Gun. And there may be some of that.
Okay.
That's not in Akron Borough.
Right.
But yeah, it's basically on Akron Borough. And incidentally, there is a plan, I don't know how it'll ever materialize, to make some kind of a bicycle pathway through there to connect to the rail trail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, through the Lidditz rail
yeah.
trail down, Steinmetz Road area.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great, because
Yeah.
people on that entire side of town, it's difficult for them to get to the rail trail.
Right, you almost have to load your bike up and haul it to the rail trail, which,
Well, unless you have an electric part, see. Electric bike.
well, no, it's not the electric bike part, it's the dealing with
both
traffic.
these guys
It's
do
dealing
not.
with traffic.
Both these guys do not like electric
No,
bikes.
if you're riding a bike, you're not getting hauled around, you might as well get a motorcycle.
Yes. Oh, yeah, really go fast.
Yeah. If you're not gonna pedal anyway, why beat around the bush? Just get where you're going. You know?
That's right, that's right. It's a great tool for people with disabilities. They can get out and enjoy the rail trails too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's,
Well, us that aren't disabled, we enjoy it too, so.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So what else does the park have? You know, like you have the disc golf, and then you have the Boy Scout building that can be rented, I would assume. Whatever you have the walking trail that goes up behind there that's really
One
nice.
and a third miles. I know of a guy that walks it 3 miles every morning, gives him 4 miles.
Nice.
And,
Not you.
no.
Oh.
And of course, we have the gazebo, which is a popular spot for weddings. A lot of people.
I got married there.
Did you really?
To my second wife, we got married in that gazebo.
Okay,
Yeah.
how'd that work out?
Well, we're still married, so it's good for like almost 30 years now.
Oh,
That's But yeah, it was a perfect day. It was October 2nd, back in
Boy.
93, I guess it
That's
was.
good.
Yeah.
That's
Well, you
good,
remember,
yeah.
that's even better.
Well, it's the day before my birthday.
Oh, okay.
I made it easy that way.
And we have 2 pavilions, they can be rented out. The newer pavilion, there's a little band shell, and the hill behind it, which is like the sledding hill.
Yeah.
That's the area in which the new pavilion is. Yeah, and a lot of baseball fields.
Yeah, there is.
Soccer, yeah. Our kids played soccer there in them fields.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And we got a wooden playground that was built, let's see, I'm trying to think about 1998.
Little,
When were
98. That's
when were your twins born?
98.
98.
So it
Yeah.
must have been a little bit. Pretty
It
close.
was right in that time period.
Yeah.
And let's see, I'm trying to think what it is. The tennis court is now lined off for
Pickleball.
Yeah, pickleball.
Oh,
You got
okay. I
it,
didn't-
yeah.
Yeah, my wife all of a sudden decided we like pickleball now. And we didn't even really play. We went out and hit around at the Middle School. They have tennis courts lined off for that.
Oh, okay.
too.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
I
newest
didn't know
fad.
that. Okay,
Newest
yeah.
fad, yeah.
Apparently it is, unbeknownst to me. But
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it.
I knew about it.
I heard the
once.
name, but
Played it once, and it's all right.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
Okay, did you
very
win?
similar to tennis.
No, because I
No,
was playing with
you didn't
people who knew what they were doing.
Okay.
I did not win. You have volleyball. You have a sand court, right?
We have sand volleyball court, yes. Yeah, that was a Boy Scout Eagle project. Number of Boy Scout Eagle projects are in our park system there. And we're very fortunate, we still have a Boy Scout program.
Yeah, that's something that seems to be fading away, really.
It is, and we're not, we don't have the Cub Scout program anymore. Couldn't get any interest in there, but we still have a very good, oh man, I would say last, since I was mayor, I probably went to about 10 of their Eagle Scout ceremonies.
Oh, well, a lot of that's pretty many Eagle Scouts.
Yes, they generated a lot of Eagle Scouts over the years.
And the park hosts how many events over the summer?
Well, the big one is Akron Day in the Park. Lions Club puts on a very good event there.
Yeah.
And the Lions Club also does the Easter egg hunt. This year, we brought back the concerts in the park. I believe there were 4 concerts.
We were at one of them. I
Oh, yeah?
forget the name of the band.
It was Irish.
Yeah, I believe it was sort of
Oh.
an Irish band.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We stopped in and watched that one. But,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're great. They drew a lot of people. And
The car show, was that the same, was that part of the Akron Days?
Akron Day in the Park,
Okay.
the car show.
There was a car show there at the same time,
Mhm.
yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
And now, the old park,
Broad Street.
You were instrumental in what goes on there for New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah, New Year's Eve. That was the first year I was mayor. I started, I brought that up, and there was an excellent group of volunteers that got together and set it up. And we did that on the street, called it Dancing in the Street, I believe.
Okay.
And then after a few years, we moved it to the Broad Street Park so we could have a bonfire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Borough had a problem with a bonfire on the street, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get that.
But that has worked out very well. And, let's see, it's probably about 15, over 15 years now we've done that. We only had to cancel it a couple of times.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
weather,
COVID.
the weather was one, COVID was the other. And unfortunately, we did have to cancel it one year because we did not have the volunteers.
Well, yeah, it takes people for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of people. It's kind of a simple event.
Yeah.
When I proposed it, I said, you know, we only really need 3 things: disc jockey, something to deliver at midnight, and hot chocolate.
You came up with a shoe.
And then we kept adding to it. Yes, yes.
So Akron drops a shoe.
We don't drop it. It's the same one. We keep using it year after year.
So they slowly lower it.
And for many years, we used a crane. And fortunately, about 4 or 5 years ago, we had a donation of the pole that we now use.
Oh.
And a very nice donation of that.
So where does the shoe get stored when it's not being?
Oh, that's a secret.
I thought it might be. I thought you might let that
Secret
slip.
shoebox.
Cannot disclose that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Now, Akron was also, for many, many, many years, until actually very recently, I believe, was a dry town.
Oh, yeah.
But not anymore, I guess, because
no, there is,
Nana Rosa's, Piero's.
Yeah, Nana Rosa, Piero. Piero was allowed to sell, I believe it was just beer.
Yeah, I believe that's.
And now it's a full.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it was never brought back after Prohibition. It had to be voted in.
Okay.
And Akron never voted it in until just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And there are, well, let's see, Western Township next to us, it's dry. There's, yeah, there's still a lot of dry areas around. But,
yeah, I guess West Earl.
we didn't really give it much thought.
Yeah, no, I mean, I knew Akron was, but I really never thought about anywhere else that still was.
oh yeah, there's quite a few areas.
Yeah.
Actually, and I'm not sure the township, but just a few years ago, I believe Willow Valley was dry, that township.
Oh.
But they did vote it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's quite a few around.
Yeah. So is there any other events that I'm missing, like that, does the fire company still do a parade for Halloween?
Very, very short one. They did up until a few years ago. And then the elementary school started a, what is that, trunk or treat?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them events.
And that became a good opportunity for the kids to dress up, uniforms, show their friends what kind of uniforms they had.
Yeah.
So it did kind of scale back. Now this year, here again, they have a problem with volunteers. So it's going to start on 12th Street and just go down to the fire hall where they then have refreshments and judging of costumes. So yeah.
Scaled down.
Yeah, volunteers once again.
Yeah, you would think, I mean, you would think with the populations of everywhere increasing, you would have at least the same amount of volunteers, but it seems to be the more people, the less volunteers that are around anymore. And I get people are very much more busy these days with, I mean, there's a lot more youth sports and all that parents are dragging their kids to, and, you know, I don't know. I guess there's reasons.
Yeah, a lot of the kids are on the internet.
Well, yeah.
And that really hit a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's sort of a shame. I mean, the internet's a good thing, but I mean, it's almost overboard, especially when you're young like that. I mean, you get one chance in life to go do stuff, and you're now wasting it looking at a screen. You know, that's which is, I mean, it's probably good we didn't have it when we were younger, because we got out and played outside and did that kind of thing. And I mean, now that we're old and now we can sit and look at the internet.
Well, you know, you're able to answer just random trivia questions about what's the fruit that Pac-Man eats. What's the
right. But I wouldn't have known that because I had never really played video games.
I got that one right.
Just glancing through this to see if I can come in any ads of. Oh, there's a place called Akron Haven Personal Care Boarding House.
Mm-hmm. That was
did that
down
turn
below 12th Street.
Did that be a bed and breakfast for a while then recently?
No.
No, not that one.
No.
Because there was a bed and breakfast.
We had two of them at one time.
Okay.
Yeah, but they no longer exist as bed and breakfast.
Yeah, I thought that they were.
So there's a couple things that you were instrumental in. One of them was like the book that you have there, the history of Akron. The other was, the rail trail and helping get that through.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit, either one. Because
that was a challenge, the rail trail, because different properties were listed as being taken by the railroad in various ways. Some of them were, when the railroad ceases to exist, the property goes back to the owner, and that never happened. And the railroad was bought at an auction by a guy interested more in the railroads that were in the coal areas, but he had to buy them as a loan.
Oh, okay.
So we managed to get it back and build a rail trail. It's 7 miles. It's a great trail. It's used very heavily.
Yeah, it is.
Used very heavily.
Yeah, I've been on it a number of times.
It's kind of interesting because before that was even dreamed of, we got Colonial Park, which is right along the rail trail, and that was something that I've been working on, probably started 15, 20 years before we had the opportunity to buy it.
Okay.
But
because wasn't that initially Township? That
that
land was.
That land was Township. We managed to buy it. Up until that opportunity, it was not for sale. We could not buy it. And but it did come an opportunity to buy the land, and it was in Township. We annexed it. It's now developing into a park.
And it wasn't anything before.
Oh no,
right? It wasn't like you're getting rid of houses or anything, apartments to.
No,
there was never anything there.
It was
bare land.
It could have been sold at any time, and apartment houses built, but people, well, all the money for parks up until that time was spent in the extreme northeast section of town.
Okay.
And people in the west, there was no park, no activities. 25% of the population of Akron lives within 2 blocks of that park. And there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Now, years and years ago, there was a small park on the west side of town. Paul, you can tell me about that.
I do remember that on Miller Road.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Miller Road.
We fought to have that put in because we needed somewhere to go hang out, and I think it was, I don't even remember if there was anything put on there.
I've heard there was playground equipment.
There could have been, but that would have been about it.
One piece of playground equipment or something,
Yeah.
swings or maybe, yeah. Yeah, that land was owned by the school district. I think they were planning on building an Akron West type school
okay.
many years ago.
Yeah.
They
I don't
acquired that
remember.
land and, of course, with buses, transportation and everything. There was an Akron West school at one time, down by the Lutheran Church. And Akron East was down at the divide of Main Street and,
Diamond Station.
Diamond
Really?
Street, yeah, Akron East
Okay.
was there, Akron West was down by the Lutheran Church, and both of those were closed and consolidated when the school, which is now known as the Akron Nutrition Center.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so they were
Yeah.
even prior to that.
Yes,
Okay.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they were, I believe, your typical one-room schoolhouse.
Yeah, okay,
Probably.
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
so when the Akron Nutrition Store building was a school, was that, you went to school there for your entire school career? Like it was a
No,
high
no,
school?
no.
Or you still went to Ephrata to graduate? Like, could you graduate
Well, I
from?
think originally you could have, I've seen pictures of graduating classes.
Yeah,
But it didn't, yeah.
because like well, it's not even the but the Denver Elementary School that I went to that's now apartments, when that first was built, it was the Denver High School. And you did graduate up
Uh-huh.
until mid-50s when they built the
Yeah.
Catalico High School,
Mhm.
but yeah. So I thought maybe this one out here, the Dutch school was the same way where, you didn't just go there till 5th grade and then go to Ephrata High School or,
No, I don't think so
Yeah,
originally.
yeah.
Yeah, originally you could graduate there. I mean, I've seen graduating classes.
Yeah.
And I'm almost sure it was 12th grade.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, there is a book out on the history of that building.
Oh, okay.
I printed it in the print shop below the.
In the same building.
Same building, yeah. Yeah, I printed that book when they had their 90th anniversary, and that was 1985, I believe.
Okay, so they're,
No, yeah, I think
so
so.
it's-
But
they're up in, 130 years old
Yeah.
or something?
yeah, it's an old building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just recently changed hands, but
Well, who did, like after it was a school, did just a guy that rented space out by it, or did he use it himself or something, or a
it
company?
was built by Mr. Wolf. I believe it was a Sam Wolf.
Okay.
I believe, and even that, there's multiple Sam Wolves around.
Yeah.
But, and he opened it up as a nutrition, vitamin,
Yeah, I
Health
get
store.
stuff there to this day.
yeah,
Yeah.
health store, and actually on the second floor, he conducted classes on healthy
Oh, all right.
eating, vitamins, and,
Right, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, in there now, it's, I guess you're in the basement.
Yeah.
And then
Lower level.
lower level, okay, not the dungeon.
I'm glad you didn't say cellar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lower level.
And then we actually have the vitamin store,
Uh-huh.
and then there's a lady that does some sort of fitness thing on the
Yeah,
other side.
yeah, she does.
And then is it just living space upstairs, or is there something else goes on
There's
upstairs?
nothing upstairs that is really permanent.
Oh, so there's not apartments up there?
There wasn't
Oh,
one time.
okay.
There wasn't one
All right.
time.
I remember years ago when there was a mini golf course.
You got it.
Put up
Yes.
on that second floor was a mini golf
An
course.
indoor thing?
Indoor
Yep,
mini golf
indoor
course.
miniature
That might have
golf.
been the first indoor mini golf in the earth.
It
Yeah.
was probably in the 80s, I would imagine, early 80s.
Yeah, I
Uh,
never realized. See, this is all the kind of stuff I missed. Not getting out of Denver. We didn't have an inside
You
mini
didn't
golf.
have any, yeah.
No, Denver
Or high
had an
class.
inside. Yeah.
You know, top of the hill.
Yeah,
The top floor has 3 classrooms. They had 3 holes in each classroom, so it was a 9-hole miniature golf course. And
So you even had to go room to room to do this golf?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you played 2 rounds. I mean,
Yeah.
you played 18 holes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no
Is,
broken
is
windows.
is there any pictures that exist of the golf course?
Sure there is, but I
I don't know.
don't know where that would be.
Because that would be sort of neat to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably didn't fit the windmill up there, I don't know.
Oh, no.
But you went in the building, you went upstairs, you
Yep.
paid
Yep.
a fee, and then you golfed.
Yep, I played it, yep.
Yep, I think they might have had a little
Snack bar up there?
snack-
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure about that,
I
but
don't
yeah.
remember.
Yep, that was up
There's
there.
a whole history of just the.
And that was in the 80s, like this, that,
That wasn't that long, yeah, right.
so that was sort of, Akron was trying to compete with Zinn's Park at that point.
Yeah.
That golf course.
Well, That is about when Zinn's really took off, and they really expanded over there.
Yeah, those holes were sold to, I don't know, a motel or a restaurant. I don't know where those holes were sold at. Then
Oh, so they were the portable, like the
Yeah.
golf?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
They probably went down to the bowling alley.
They very well might have been is where they went.
No, I think they went somewhere else. There was disc golf. I mean, there was golf down there, miniature golf.
Well, that is sort of a neat thing that I never knew about.
Yeah, that's,
And I have never seen a book with pictures of that.
no, I was private, so I don't, it wasn't, I don't know.
I don't know. I had probably maybe 3 years.
It wasn't real long.
No, it wasn't there a long time.
Probably not very profitable.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
But yeah, I was going to say that was quite a unique thing, for sure.
Akron, so over the summer, it was, I lived on the other side near the railroad tracks. So the idea was to come uptown, stop at the ShopRite,
Okay.
grab your pretzel donut, go down to the pool,
Oh, okay.
swim all day, and then go home.
Hillcrest Pool.
Yep.
So that's a pool you got to be a member of, right?
Yeah, you got to be a member, but parents set us up, my sister and I, with memberships, and we rode our bike, and it was a ride because Akron's on a hill, and so we had to go but it was great little pool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and their membership is not quite as strict as what it used to be. I think you can actually join without being a member, maybe a year or something.
Okay.
But yeah, that is bordered by Akron, but it is not in Akron.
Oh, all right.
In West Earl Township.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I would not have known that that's right outside the,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
They, I believe it's, they do get their water sewer from us or
Yeah.
whatever, yeah. But I think maybe part of the parking lot or something.
Okay.
But no, that swimming pool is not in Akron.
So you did some books?
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
this one, yeah. This came out, this was done by Dick Warner, who was a newspaper reporter. And this was the one we came out with for our 125th anniversary. It just covers the last 25 years because we have with this book, you brought this along.
Yeah.
This was the 100th anniversary. We also did a very good book for the 75th anniversary.
Okay, I don't think I ever saw that.
Yeah. Now that one's hard to find. There's still some of these around you can buy. This book it's very, it's got a lot of pictures
Yeah,
in it.
a lot of the pictures we looked at out in the hallway here are in here.
Yeah, this committee developed some large frames that hold many pictures each, and they're out in the hallway here at Borough Hall. But that is a very good history book. But rather than coming up with another history book, we decided that the last 25 years would be more appropriate.
Right.
Dick Warner volunteered to write this book, did an excellent job. It includes a lot of history, but it is more like in story form. There's one page for each year. He includes a lot of interesting little tidbits of information, and he has a lot of pictures too. There's, for example, color pictures.
Yeah.
Whee!
Yeah, we don't, this one don't have any colored pictures in it.
Yeah, and Don Reese, I believe, took probably about all of the pictures.
Okay, he's a well-known local photographer.
And he's also the person behind the Gnome Village.
Oh, yes, yeah, you're right.
Gnome Village.
Well, I think he was in my wife's class in high school. And,
okay.
Yeah. She
Gnome
mentioned
Village.
that, yeah.
Anybody that hasn't seen Gnome Village,
That's really
get
that's
down there and
that's a
and
lot
look
of work.
at, it puts a lot of work, it's neat, it's a big attraction. A lot of people I've seen or heard, they come up from Ephrata, with their children,
To show.
they go as far as Gnome Village, and that's it.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah, it's great.
Yes. Go ahead.
When I got that book out from where I kept it, I noticed I had, I thought it was in here. Oh, here it is. It's a bill from the Akron Electric Company, which I was talking about earlier.
oh,
This was 1914. Electricity was 9 cents a kilowatt hour. A little bit cheaper than what we pay today. But of course, 9 cents was a lot harder to come by.
well, right,
Yeah.
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 Probably ratio-wise was just as expensive, if not more.
Oh, probably more.
Yeah.
Thank
I don't know, what do
God.
we pay a kilowatt hour these days?
Around 12, 14 cents, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, I see my electric bill, but I never really look at the price per kilowatt
If you're
hour.
buying it from a provider, you're paying only for the generation charge, and that's around 10, 12 cents. But then PPL, if that's who you're.
Actually, I'm
supplier is.
fortunate enough to have Akron Borough Electric.
Okay.
So I will say that is considerably cheaper than what we paid with PP&L when we lived outside of Rossville.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't they don't realize that. They hear about the compared to rate, but that's just a generation part.
Yeah,
And added on to that is the distribution charges.
yeah.
And so they look at the Ephrata bill and they think, oh, wow, that's high compared to what I hear is the compared to rate, but.
No, at the end of the day, you're getting a lot cheaper electric out of Ephrata than PP&L.
Okay, that I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
neat. You got an old bill. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
There was actually a paper in this thing, not a bill, but a little story, I didn't even look at it, but something about a butcher shop
Oh, yeah.
on
Yeah,
Fulton
the butcher
Street.
shop.
Yeah, you were
that
talking
was it.
about that
Yeah.
butcher
Yeah,
shop.
Showalter's.
Well, yeah,
Showalter's Butcher Shop.
weirdly enough, that was just stuck in there. I didn't even look at it till
Huh.
now, but.
Henry and Althea Showalter down on Fulton Street, they had a butcher shop, and he had a horse-drawn
Meat wagon.
He would go throughout town selling the meat. And
Well, then here it says in 1940, Barney the horse was retired and he got a Ford Model A truck.
whoa, okay. Hey, that's interesting.
1940. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the kettle. You might have, remember you talked about a kettle?
yeah.
Here it talks about the kettle to scald hogs, rendering lard.
Yep. Very heavy kettle. Wasn't it, Paul?
I remember moving a lot of stuff out of there. I don't remember how heavy it was.
Paul helped when the butcher shop was closed. Paul helped, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, it was.
And that entire butcher shop is moved down to the Historical Society of the Cocalico Valley. And It's in the shed out back. The print shop has one side. The other side is the butcher shop. I don't think they have it open very often, but it is there. I'm sure they'd show it to you. And,
So the Historic Society, when that butcher shop closed, they bought all that stuff, or it was donated to them, or?
I think Henry had passed at that point.
Yeah.
It was
Henry
just
had
her.
passed. I think it was donated.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I just was curious how they,
Probably.
like if they had a public sale and they bought it, or they just?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I believe it was donated, and, yeah, a lot of people think that Roland Park was donated too. But, no, that was bought by the borough, and it was bought by the borough because, to protect our water source. We have 8 wells,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's where we get our water. No.
Now, we're probably soon out of time here, but speaking of Roland Park and me from being not from Akron, Lloyd Rowland, what is his claim to fame that he got a park named after him? Like, I don't know, I just...
When they were looking for a name for the park, right around that same time, Lloyd Rowland passed, and it just seemed like it was
But
something
what-
they should have, yeah. He was a school teacher.
Oh, okay,
He was the principal of the
okay,
school here.
okay.
He was one of the founding members of the Lions Club.
Oh,
He
so very worthy of...
he was on Borough Council. I'm not sure, I think he might have been president of Borough Council. He was very active in the
Okay,
community.
well, no, then he, I mean, he
right
obviously
about that
earned the right to have a park named after him.
Yeah.
I didn't know, maybe, I didn't know if it was maybe somebody that actually donated a ton of money and in exchange for naming it after themselves, but he actually earned the right to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
okay,
It was bought by the borough. It was an operating farm.
yeah, yeah. Does somebody still actually live in the house there when you come?
Yes.
Is that rented, is like
Yes.
rented out?
Yeah, it's rented by the borough.
Yeah,
We're fortunate to have very good tenants.
Yeah.
Over the years, we've had multiple tenants, and they've always respected the house, the property,
well, that's, yeah.
and they love their backyard.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
They don't have
Share
to
it.
mow it.
No, yeah,
Well, that's
sure.
a plus too, that's a plus too. I mean, they get a fair amount of traffic in and out.
So before it gets too late, I did want to touch base just on the police department.
Yeah.
Because, growing up here, that's one of the reasons I became a police officer was because of the officers that worked
Mhm.
in Akron. I mean,
Right.
it started way back when, and I knew some of the chiefs because there wasn't a lot of people that worked, and they had a good influence.
Mhm.
Clarence Fosnot, Fuzzy,
Fuzzy,
he was good.
you around with Punky?
I wasn't around when Punky. No, I did not know
Raymond
him.
Stauffer was, that was his nickname. He had a shoe shop, repair shop, here in Akron, and he was, I don't know if he had any help at that time or not, but Punky was the police chief, yeah.
Actually, my grandfather was West Calico for quite a while, and he was the only guy. Richard Fosnot was his name. But,
Yeah.
He's, I don't even know that they had a police station. Like, I think he
Yeah.
sort of did it out of his house, Like, I don't know that he had lockup in his house, but,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the police chiefs. We had, it was Punky, and it was Fuzzy.
And then Evans,
Evans, okay.
and then Zell.
And then Zell,
Was Punky the first?
that I knew of.
Yeah, that I knew of too.
Beard. I knew we were missing one, or Beard.
I'm not sure how I
Yeah.
missed him. He was influenced too, 'cause I used to sit next to him when he was timing traffic. I'd have my bike, and I know where he would sit, and I'd go by my bike, and I'd talk to her Beard, and I would watch it. He would play a game with me. He'd like, how fast do you think this car's going? And of course, he had a timer. That was like, that's pretty cool. No, I don't know how we forgot. Yeah, but
Yeah, the Punky was, that's back when the town was 2,000 people.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And now there is no Akron police force anymore.
No, there isn't. That was a tough decision. But, Borough Council.
Well, and a lot of, like, there used to be Denver police, and for years there hasn't been. You know, it's almost seems like, you know, one police force keeps growing and just sort of probably makes it cheaper.
It is cheaper
You
in
know,
today's world, and what's
Yeah.
required to be a police department is
Right.
to do it in bulk makes a lot more sense for taxpayers because
Yeah. No, that.
it is just so expensive, and you really do need all the tools.
Yeah.
It's not gonna end well.
Yeah. No. It
And
makes
Akron
sense,
kept up
really.
with it for a long time.
Yeah, we
You know,
did.
Tom Zell kept up with it.
Yep.
You know, he was right on top of it.
Ran an excellent department.
Yeah.
I was fortunate. The mayor in the Borough Code, Pennsylvania Borough Code, the mayor oversees the police department. And I was very fortunate to have him as the chief because I believe it's worded in the Borough Code that the police department operates under the mayor at all times.
Okay.
And, which means that, you know, if there's ever any major problems or anything, where the police department gets sued, that goes to the mayor too.
All right. Okay.
And so it's.
So you as the mayor want to make sure you don't have a bunch of people out there doing what they're not supposed to be doing.
You got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that the police
Well, I
department
mean, that the
handles
police-
that situation.
Well, that's what I mean, that the police officers themselves aren't out there cowboying around.
I want to make sure that, that they handle the situation with the care and the, that they should. But, and we were pretty fortunate when we did close our department. Back years ago, we had developed a cross-policing agreement with West Earl. And all of their officers were sworn officers of Akron. All of Akron's officers were sworn officers of West Earl. And we had that relationship for probably around, maybe 20 years. And so that was the direction that Borough Council had leaned.
Okay.
And when everything got said and done, that's who we went with. And it's been an excellent relationship, just like it was when we had our cross-policing
Right.
agreement. Every morning when school opens, they have an officer there.
Oh, okay. All right.
And when it closes, they have an officer there.
Just like Akron did.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, and those are the things that people brought up, that they wanted to make sure that Akron would still do if we lost our police department.
Yeah.
And we were pretty firm on certain things like that.
Right. Right.
And they've done a lot of, policing in town. I mean,
Well, I see them every now and then, you know, when I come up the highway here.
That's
sitting-
good.
Yeah.
They didn't have to get you for anything?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
I know they sit there, so I behave myself.
No, it's been a good relationship. And they are, I think, they hired all of our police officers that we have.
That's what I was gonna ask, now that they have much more area to cover, did they hire new troops or whatever, to cover the expanded area?
Out of 5, we had a staff of 5 in our police department. The chief retired,
Right.
and by the time all that took place, we had 2 left. And so they hired both of those,
Okay.
and they eventually added 5
Oh,
to their
okay.
department. So, and the Akron zone is from Akron down to Sandy Beach
Okay.
on the west side of 222.
Okay.
That
So
makes
that's-
sense. Yeah.
That's the Akron zone.
Yeah.
And they have at least 1 officer in that zone at all times.
Okay. So response time shouldn't be much different than it always was.
No.
Yeah.
And yeah, the chief down there has done a very good job. Everybody seems to be well satisfied with the arrangement that we now have.
So now your job got a lot easier because you don't have a police force anymore. You don't have to worry about getting sued anymore.
No, but you know, it's like I said with Chief Zell, I was very fortunate.
He also was in my wife's high school class.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I didn't have to spend too much attention. I know of one mayor here in Lancaster County. First thing every morning, he's in the police station reading all the incident reports from the day before. He wants to know what's going on.
Well, I guess if you're legally tied to it,
He's very much involved in the borough, and I know there are other mayors that are you know, very similar. They don't do it every day,
right.
But they keep their tabs on what goes on.
Well, that's, I guess, sort of what the position is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's so much more history, I'm sure.
oh
you
yeah,
can go over, but
and
we
like
only
we
have so
tell
much time, yeah.
like we tell every guest that's been on this podcast, and you're probably like number 22 or something.
Mhm.
You're not limited to one time. If you want to,
Right.
you want to expand on this, you just let us know, and we'll come back sometime.
Yeah.
No, I'm certainly glad of your interest in Akron. Akron is it's a great town. I love it, and that's why I decided to commit a lot of my volunteer time to doing
Yeah,
Akron.
well, that's very honorable of you.
Yeah, over the years, and yeah, we grew up to be where we are today as a residential community.
Yeah.
More or less. That's
Right.
That's why our park system is so important to us.
Yeah.
It wasn't by design, but we don't have a lot of business. It wasn't designed or intended to be that way. We don't have a lot of employers.
Right.
But yeah. No, I'm glad you guys
Oh,
show an interest
yeah.
in it.
No, like I say, I didn't know a lot about Akron, other than what I might have saw in this book, because I really rarely got to Akron as a youngster.
Yeah.
And I'm really ticked I missed that mini golf course. In the,
Oh.
So before you run it off, so we're in the Akron Borough building now.
Mhm.
We're in the chambers room where
The
they
council
hold their
chamber. Mhm.
council chamber where they hold their
Mhm.
meetings. And I know Kelly said he was just going to do a very
Yeah,
quick-
I can't really move the camera very far, but I'll like just do a zoom around. They do have a collection of some old stuff in the
Some
corner,
old
some
stuff.
trophies. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to pan around a little bit, as good as I can, because I know if I move this too fast, it might be too much for it to.
And we'll be out and about again next week.
Yeah. Paul's my salesman, marketing guy. He tells me where to show up. So we got things on the wall, some maps. I assume they're maybe current maps. That's storm sewer map.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We
And-
have our own sewer collection system, but we use the effort treatment.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the, we had these flags around town. It doesn't say that, but I'm almost sure it was the 100th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then way over there in the corner, you probably can't see a whole lot, but there's a big drum there, Akron
band.
Cornet Band.
We had a band.
I think almost every town back in the day had a band.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, that was a big thing. I mean, there wasn't near as much other stuff to do, and baseball teams.
Mm-hmm.
Every town had a baseball team.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna pan around, and there's looks like a bookcase with a bunch of old memorabilia in it.
Yeah, this has all the historical material that we have of the Dutch school.
Oh,
Natural
okay.
School, the elementary school.
But yet no pictures of the mini golf course in there.
Well, no,
They don't have the
Okay.
complete history of the
Now there's a challenge here. We got to get a picture of this thing.
Yeah, we're gonna, anybody, actually, put that out there, Paul. Anybody that might have a picture of the mini golf course that was at one point in the upstairs of the
That's cool.
Akron Nutrition
Yep.
Building. If you have pictures, send them to us.
I know who the owners were, and I lost track of them, but I might be able
Well,
to see if.
And if there's anybody out there that played it, please comment.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
If you get to this point in the video and you're
Yeah.
still watching,
Yeah, you're still watching.
and you played there, let me know how that was. All right, we are going to sign off, and thanks for joining in. We'll see you next week.